everybody, so new review for you guys today with the upcoming horror film Come Play. Obviously, as many of you know by now, I'm a huge fan of the horror genre, and kind of by default, this is like the big horror movie release of the season because everything else kind of moved out of this year into next year. But I'm really happy to talk about this film with you guys, and also a huge shout out to Focus Features for sending me a screener of this so I can talk about it with you guys a little bit early because it comes out on Friday. So Come Play is about Oliver, a lonely autistic boy who feels different from everyone else. Desperate for a friend, he seeks solace in his mobile devices, where a villainous monster named Larry manifests through them. Coupling technology and horror isn't entirely a new concept, especially in modern times when everyone has smartphones and tablets. I think one of the more recent examples I can think of is actually Countdown from last year. But I think that Come Play is probably the best of this genre when it comes to that idea, with the monster Larry manifesting itself through devices. It's definitely a really good deterrent from people, especially I guess kids as well, from being on their phones and their tablets and all that all the time. The use of the monster I thought was well done for the most part, at least, keeping the suspense of the monster. We don't really see it too much. We get a lot of glimpses of it through technology or angles where it's partially obstructed, but we don't get really too many good looks at it until the very end of the film. That could potentially be to the film's low budget. I'm not aware of what the actual budget for the film was. I imagine is quite low, but they do a really good job utilizing that budget because there's actually a good mix of CGI effects and also practical as well, especially in the latter half of the film, which I was quite surprised by because I do really like practical effects, especially in horror films, and they do a good job with the practical elements. There are some CGI shots that are a little bit wonky I wasn't a big fan of, but overall I was really impressed by it. I've never seen anything from this director before, Jacob Chase. I am aware that he did the short story that this film is based off of, but I think as far as his directing goes, I think he has a decent enough grasp on the whole shot composition, setting up decent enough scares. Even if I think a lot of the time the film does rely upon jump scares to get its scares across, there are some jump scares that I feel are quite effective. I mean, I'm not anti-jump scare. I think that if they're done well, they can be done effectively, and there's probably like a handful in here that aren't half bad. The sound mixing and the sound design for the film I think definitely creates a decent amount of tension when it comes to the jump scares coming. Actually, the opening of the film and towards the end of the film I think are some of the best elements when it comes to the jump scares. The cast is quite small, but I think that's actually to the film's benefit, as the story involved besides the Larry stuff is actually quite intimate, because not only is all the scary stuff with Larry going on, but the parents are also trying to deal with the struggles of raising a kid with autism, which I can't speak from personal experience, but some of the scenes that are between the mother and Oliver are actually quite heartbreaking, especially since they can't communicate like a regular mother and son or father and son would, and that actually makes for some really awkward tension in some of these scary scenarios. I can't speak to the accurate portrayal of autism on screen, as I'm not autistic or know anyone that is autistic, so if you are, let me know in the comment section down below how you felt about the portrayal of Oliver in the film. But I think that the actor did a solid enough job being very believable with his role. Definitely much better than something like, the Predator film, the way that they portrayed autism. I think this was a much more tasteful portrayal of it. I actually really like this little kid actor. He was also the kid in Marriage Story, and I think he does a really good job here as well. I think that I really want to see him in more roles in the future. I think he has a bright future ahead of him. I also just really love the fact that he watches a lot of SpongeBob throughout the film to calm him down, as I'm a big fan of SpongeBob. It's not really a pro or a con, I just thought that was a really fun little tidbit thrown in, that we just see a lot of SpongeBob throughout this horror film. But yeah, overall, I think this is a very solid horror film to check out, especially if you're craving something new and horror related around Halloween time, if you want to get in the mood to be scared. It's not a perfect film. It's definitely not a movie that's probably going to be, revered as one of the best horror films of all time, but it's a decent enough horror film. It's not great. It's not bad at all. It's just fun enough, and I think you're going to like it if you check it out in theaters or, later down the road if you want to check it out. If you do check it out in theaters, make sure you wear a mask and all that stuff and stay safe. But those have just been my thoughts on Come Play. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section down below. What did you think of the film when you check it out? Did you like it? Did you not like it? I'd love to know all your thoughts about it down below. We can get a discussion going in the comment section down below, because I like to talk about all things movies and TV on the channel. I also have a review up for The Craft Legacy if you want to check that out as well. I really would appreciate it. Definitely a lot of horror content coming out the last couple days, so I really appreciate all the love and support from you guys. Make sure you like it, that subscribe button, and we'll keep movie show reactions, unboxings, and more. For the next time, I'll see you guys later.